And if an iconic figure is exactly what you want, if you want to be a legend, you have to be willing to do legendary shit. Get up, go get it, be a champion, decide, and it's a choice. This is the Savage Hour Podcast. We take you inside the mind of fighters, athletes, and entrepreneurs. Don't miss an episode. Follow and subscribe. Mindset. You know, it's one of the things that it's no secret that I talk about all the time. And a lot of the times I bring it up and I have conversations with friends and people in general. They're always asking me, well, you know, what can I do to help my mindset keep getting better, or even start the path of starting to develop how to grow it. And I always talk about books, audiobooks, podcasts. There's tons of information out there. And one that I've been recommending a lot lately is the book Relentless by Tim Grover. The reason why I'm going to talk a little bit about that today is because there's the documentary that's on Netflix that everybody's pretty much seen now, The Last Dance. You know, it's about Michael Jordan and his transition from being the kid Michael to Michael Jordan to MJ to Air Jordan. And the book and the documentary actually tie themselves together, and you get to see a whole story play out. Because for me, I read the book first, and then I did the audiobook, and I actually keep the audiobook on play. I have all my athletes doing it now. I have them all reading the audio, or listening to the audiobook, because it's so powerful. They talk about the different types of athletes, the different types of people, whether there's he calls them cleaners, closers, and then the other one is oh my God, I'm blanking on. He said the cleaner, the closer, and I'm blanking out. Sorry, but the point is that there's different types of people that go fit in different places, and the mindset that goes in each one of those. And guys like Michael Jordan was able to take that mentality and really transform himself into what became one of the greatest athletes of all time. Not even just basketball, athletes. You know, and a lot of people saw Michael Jordan as this asshole on the court. And the reality is, what it was, he had a drive that was unparalleled to anybody else. A lot of times people say they want to be the greatest. They say they want to be the best. But they don't realize what that actually means, what that really takes for you to become the greatest at something. I mean, let's think about this, right? To be the greatest, you have to be able to do something better than anybody has ever done before. That means that you're going to have to put in more work. You're going to have to let go so much more things. You're going to have to sacrifice. You're going to have to deal with adversity. You're going to have to deal with so much more than anybody else. It's not just about being better than them. You literally are going to have to go through every single stage of the process of the joys, the sadness, the in-betweens, the heartbreak, everything. You have to go through all of that more than anybody if you want to be the greatest, because it means that's why you've got the passion for it. Just because you wake up in bed every day and be like, oh, I'm going to be good, I want to be the best, isn't going to do it. Just because you're good is not going to be enough to make you the best. There's a big difference between good, great, and best. And you got guys like Michael Jordan. Every time he competed, he had that mentality that he was a cleaner. He's going to go out there and prove, today I am the best in the world. But that wasn't just on the court. That was also with the way that he trained. And the book Relentless, Tim Grover was the guy that really got Michael to see that, see the transformation. When they started together, Michael was still a phenomenal athlete, but he hadn't transformed in what made him the greatest. And Tim, in the book, describes the process of what they did and how they changed and how it made Michael realize that he had an opportunity to be above and beyond everybody else. But it had to start with how he woke up in the morning, what he did in the gym, how he approached the people around him, and also his expectations of those around him, because that's really important. I talk to my athletes about this all the time. I need you guys to rise to the level that I expect of myself. And that's what he did in the court every single day. He made his training partners rise the expectation, or they got shut down on the floor. That's just the way that it was. He expected a certain level, and if they weren't going to do it, he was going to do it himself. There was no excuses, because at the end of the day, let's be honest, any excuse will work. For any reason why you didn't get something done, any excuse will work. It could be valid, but it's still an excuse. You have to take that mentality and be like, There is no excuse. I have to get this done. If I'm going to be the greatest, I have to wake up the greatest. I have to talk the greatest. I have to perform the greatest. I have to practice the greatest. I have to eat the greatest. I have to write the greatest. Everything that I do in my life has to be the greatest, and it has to be directed towards that focus. It can't be a little bit here, a little bit there, a little misfocus here. Oh, only between this time and this time is when that I'm going to work on being great. It doesn't work that way. It really has to be an obsession. And what's cool about the book and the documentary is when I read the book first and then I did the audiobook, I was really amazed by that process. And then when the documentary came out, I got to watch actually the story play out in a different format. So it was really amazing when I saw Michael Jordan, explaining everything that happened through college, and then he transitioned into the pros, but then they couldn't win the world championship. Tim Grover, the writer of the book, who also was the coach for Michael as that shift happened, you got to see when he implemented the strategies into Michael and the change that it made and what it drove him to. Every single day he took that mindset and he was like, I have to perform today. He was always on. There was never a moment where he had to try to get on. It was like every day of my life I am on. And that's such a big difference that other people just don't do. Other people want to be on when it's time to be on. And that's great. You can be good doing that. You can be good. In fact, you might be able to be great. But when you're on only from time to time, there's no way you're going to be the greatest. It's just not going to happen. You're going to be like a baseball pitcher that they bring in to close the game, right? You come in, you're a closer. You come in, you throw that. They can rely on you for that 1 or 2 rounds that they know that you're going to be able to throw what they need you to throw in that time period. You could be one of the greatest, you can be one of the best at that, but nobody's going to ever say you were the greatest just because you're brought in for a limited time. But you have the guys that are brought in for the whole game. Doesn't matter if it's baseball, basketball, football. Let's even go business. It's the guys that can have the longevity, the people that can actually see the vision, that they always stay on. These are the ones that are going to be remembered, and they're going to leave their mark as the greatest. You got guys like Kobe Bryant that was influenced by Michael Jordan. He took a lot of the things that Michael Jordan said and did and implemented in what made him to become one of the greatest. And in that documentary, it's amazing because you get to watch the parallels combine. You get to see Michael Jordan at the end of his career start transitioning into what became Kobe Bryant. It's incredible, the transition of the two. So, today I really just want to talk about that concept, is that if you want to be the greatest, it's not about what you do from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. because that's a work hour. It's not about that. It's really about what you do throughout the entire day. It's how you interact with everything and everybody. It's how you make yourself see yourself. Every time you look in the mirror, you decide every day when you wake up, is today the day that I'm going to be the greatest that I can be? And if the answer is no, you have to shift that and make those adjustments. It doesn't matter what your venture is. It doesn't matter what your journey is. What matters is if you truly want to be the greatest, every single day is your chance to do that. But you have to make the decision to do that. Nobody will do it for you. Every excuse will come around the world. Right now we're in the middle of a pandemic. There's every excuse you could possibly find. But if your goal is to be the greatest, it doesn't matter what's happening around you. It doesn't matter what's happening in the world. What only matters is how you handle yourself every single day. It's your choice to be a champion. And if an iconic figure is exactly what you want, if you want to be a legend, you have to be willing to do legendary shit. Get up, go get it, be a champion, decide, and it's a choice. I highly recommend the book to everybody that's out there. If you guys are tuning in, I highly recommend Relentless by Tim Grover. You can get the hard book, you can get the soft book, you can get the audio book. Go get it. It's game changing. I recommend it. I keep it on loop in my car. I stopped listening to music like 3-4 years ago. All I do is listen to audiobooks and podcasts. I mean, you guys are listening or watching to this one here. So if you're already doing it, you might as well keep feeding your brain. There's so many opportunities that are out there for us to just go get it if we're willing to put our excuses behind us. Go get it. Be a champion. See you guys on the next one. Hey guys, if you like this episode, follow the podcast and subscribe to our YouTube channel.